Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, the Transformers Marathon still continuing. Now, we've come to the fourth Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, the Transformers Marathon still continuing. Now, we've come to the fourth installment, Transformers Age of Extinction. Yes, so I'll go ahead and read the description / the story first. After an epic battle, a great city lies in ruins, but the Earth itself is saved. As humanity begins to pick up the pieces, a shadowy group emerges to try to take control of history. Meanwhile, an ancient and powerful new menace sets its sights on Earth. A new group of humans, led by Cad Yeager, I think I got the first name right, helps Optimus Prime and the Autobots rise up to meet their most fearsome challenge yet, a worldwide war of good versus evil. So, Transformers Age of Extinction, a lot of people consider this, and I think right next to The Last Knight, one of the worst Transformers films. But to be completely honest, I don't think it's that bad. I actually like Age of Extinction. I like where the story goes and, what's going on in the film altogether. Because taking place after, well, obviously the events of the third Transformers film, Dark of the Moon, and after the big battle in Chicago and all lives lost, the civilians of Chicago. And it's at that point where the alliance of the humans and the Autobots come to an end officially. And basically, this group called the Cemetery Wind, hunting down not only Decepticons, but Autobots. These are the Autobots we're talking about. They would never harm humans, and they've teamed up and helped the humans take on the Decepticons. Have they gone mad? Even some of the Autobots that we see that are hiding and trying to avoid, being hunted down by humans. And, at one point, we see one of the Autobots being hunted down, at some dock, of ships, Ratchet. And Ratchet, who is a medical Autobot. And, he doesn't want to hurt the humans, and, even telling them that Optimus Prime left them a message, a distress call. And, sadly, Ratchet gets killed, and something about the Autobots and Decepticons that we don't know about, their remains, what happens to them. But also, at the beginning of the film, we find out that apparently the Decepticons, Autobots, I think the Decepticons, they're responsible for causing the population of the dinosaurs to be, obliterated, their extinction. So, and even say at one point, we come to the Arctic, and we get the introduction of one of the new characters of the film, Darcy Terrell, played by Sophia Myles, because she's at the Arctic and, uncovering frozen, dinosaurs, basically, And we, of course, get the introduction of Cade Yeager. I think that's how you say the first name, Cade. Played by Mark Wahlberg. We have him. We have his daughter, Tessa Yeager, played by Nicola Peltz Beckham. And also Cade's partner, a mechanical partner, basically, because he's an inventor and he can repair things. His mechanical partner named Lucas Flannery. I think I got the last name right. Played by T.J. Miller. And T.J. Miller, being T.J. Miller, and I think, all of his characters that he has played are basically him, No offense or anything like that. And basically, Cade and Lucas, they're hired to repair something at this old movie theater, and Cade comes across an old truck. And something about the truck, I think for the audiences, like, to figure out, like, and to quickly know, like, what's with that truck, because, and Cade takes in the truck and, is going to repair it. But also, something about Cade and his daughter, they're basically broke, and even say they're 6 months due on, like, paying the rent, because, a funny moment where, Relator, played by Cleo King, comes in with a couple, like, showing them and giving them a tour of the house and property. So yeah, and gosh, like, Cade has the balls to scare them off, especially Relator. I'm just saying, and of course, Cade does find out that this truck that he uncovered and brought into his barn is an Autobot, and Lucas and Tessa, they are not comfortable with this, and and even Lucas and Tessa tell Cade that with them having an Autobot, they can report in the Autobot to the CIA, stuff like that, and maybe they could get some fortune, But at one point, the Cemetery Wind does find out that Cade, brought in the Autobot because of, satellite photos taken of the truck being driven. And one of the main antagonists of Age of Extinction, and he is a rogue CIA, and, he's a part of the Cemetery Wind, like, he's running it. Harold Tyner, I think that's how you say the last name, I don't know, played by Kelsey Grammer. And yeah, Kelsey Grammer, he's good at playing evil. Like, I can think of, say, him voicing two villains, Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons, and Stinky Pete / Prospector from Toy Story 2. Yeah, and I can't remember, like, if he has played, like, an on-screen villain. Aside from this, I can't remember it. You guys can help me out on that. Even say Harold, he has an asset. Like, he calls him his asset. A bounty hunter, which I think, he is a, ancient Decepticon. I'm not sure if the word ancient is right, but, I think he's from the first generation. So, yeah, I think that's right. Named Lockdown. And Lockdown being voiced by, well, where was it? Lockdown being voiced by Mark Ryan. And Lockdown is helping the humans track down the Autobots, and Lockdown has this big, massive ship, and something about the ship, which, we find out about later. Harold, he prefers Lockdown as his asset, and as I said, an alliance with, the Decepticons and the humans tracking down the Autobots. And, at one point, the Cemetery Wind does come in at Cade's house and farm, and holding him, Tessa, and Lucas hostage, questioning them about where the Autobot is. And another member of the Cemetery Wind, James Savoy, played by Titus Welliver. I think I got, the last name right. Yeah, I know him. He's a pretty good actor. I think, he's been in a lot as well. Like, one of those actors that has been in a lot. So, as I said, the Cemetery Wind, they have Cade, Tessa, and Lucas held hostage, and, even Harold, he's, communicating with James, and, ordering him to use the girl, and, threaten Cade that they're going to kill his daughter if he doesn't, answer to them where the Autobot is. And, of course, Optimus Prime, who, obviously, that's who the truck was, and, before the cemetery wind showed up, Cade was helping Optimus Prime, get repaired. He was badly damaged. And Optimus Prime bursting out of the barn and attacking the cemetery wind, here I am! Yeah, that was pretty epic. And, they escaped from the barn and the house, and even say, Lockdown, he shot missiles right at the house, so their house was, unfortunately destroyed. And another new character that joins them, and actually, he happens to be Tessa's boyfriend, Shane Dyson, played by Jack Renoir. I think I'm saying the last name right. And of course, Cade is not pleased with this, and in fact, he, of course, Cade being a dad, doesn't want his daughter to, be in a relationship with a boy, until, after she graduates, stuff like that. And, the thing is that Tessa is still a minor, and Shane is a little bit older than Tessa. Throughout most of the film, Cade going on about, Tessa and Shane, and trying to keep them apart, no smooching, no cuddling, stuff like that, But of course, Shane and Cade, they of course, as the film proceeds, they start to bond and stuff like that, And, a pretty epic car chase, they're all in Shane's car and escaping from the cemetery wind. And even say Optimus Prime running away, being chased by Lockdown. And, at one point, I think, Shane's car crashes and Lockdown firing upon them, stuff like that. And sadly, Lucas doesn't make it. Yeah, he sadly dies, going out the same way like the dinosaurs went out, just being metal or stuff like that. I don't know what the correct term is for what that is, but it's a shame, I don't know, because me and my dad, we did see this film in theaters, so I can't remember if I saw it coming that one of them was going to die, and thus, it was Lucas. So, even Optimus Prime, he of course, is sorry about the loss of their friend, and eventually, Optimus, along with Cade, Tessa, and Shane, they meet up with the last surviving Autobots on Earth. The last 4, and of course, Optimus Prime with them makes it 5, And I gotta say, I think these group of Autobots have to be some of my favorite group of Autobots, alongside with Optimus Prime, being led by Optimus Prime, that is. And those are Hound, voiced by John Goodman, Drift, voiced by Ken Watanabe. I got that right. And Crosshairs being voiced by John DiMaggio. Because John DiMaggio, he had voiced some of the Autobots and Decepticons in the Transformers films. Well, now he's voicing one of the main Autobots. And of course, Bumblebee joining Optimus Prime. Of course, you have to have Bumblebee. And here's one thing, I kind of have a complaint about this. Whatever happened to Sam? I mean, he was an important character in the first 3 films, and, a big bond between him and Bumblebee. And in Age of Extinction, they completely ignore Sam, especially because after the Battle of Chicago, the alliance between the humans and Autobots came to an end. Seriously, and... did Sam and Bumblebee say their goodbyes? I would assume, but I'm just saying, that's kind of an important thing. And with Sam, just saying, and I'm sure as though that Sam and his new girlfriend Carly, they probably have their happy ending, and they might have gotten married. I don't know, never explained at all. Those are some big details, don't you think? So, as I said, Optimus Prime meeting up with the last 4 remaining Autobots on Earth, and, even at one point, Cade actually, got a hold of, like, this, like, bug drone, I want to say, straight from the Cemetery Wind. He managed to get that and, started to reprogram it, so, he can control it. And even say, like, sending a message to Harold and the Cemetery Wind that, he will find them. And, the Autobots and the human characters, like, they plan to go into this company called KSI. And something about KSI, which, remember, as I mentioned, Darcy discovering, like, frozen, like, dinosaurs at the Arctic. Well, she's a part of KSI. KSI being this company that, is doing robot stuff and with technology, and they have some of the body parts of the Autobots and Decepticons. They even have Brains held hostage. Yeah, we once again get the appearance of Brains, and they use him for, like, doing stuff on the Autobots and Decepticons, and Brains, once again, being voiced by Reno Wilson. And the CEO and, creator of KSI, that being Joshua Joyce, played by good old Stanley Tucci. Yeah, Stanley Tucci, he's good in anything, and you know what? He was pretty good in this. And I like this because Joshua goes from being, a dickhead to actually, becoming a better man and, helping the Autobots and, Cade, Tess, and Shane. I think, because as the movie establishes, Darcy and Joshua, they used to be in a relationship, and, another female character that I think, Joshua has the hots for, that being Sue Yuiming, if I'm saying the last name right, played by Bin Bin Lee, and, I even say, like, like Bumblebee, Cade, and Shane, they break in and, like, they disguise themselves as, being employees of KSI, because with the bug drone that Cade got a hold of, able to use that to scan and replicate, like, say, badges and stuff like that, and Cade going in and discovering and looking at, finding, like, the Autobots and such, and, his cover is blown because, like, some of the people in there, like, they recognize him, and, a confrontation between Harold and Cade, like, them at the table, and Harold telling him that, everything can go back to the way it was, like a normal life for them, seeing his daughter graduate, and, because since they helped Optimus Prime, they're now wanted and now fugitives, stuff like that, and, Cade, he would like for things to go back to normal, and a pretty epic moment where, Optimus Prime discovers that Ratchet is being used, his body parts, and Optimus Prime, he doesn't want to harm the humans, but he just has a grudge where, he wants to kill those, what they did to his friends, and thus, him and the rest of the Autobots, they go in and they break in, and, they don't harm the humans, but Optimus Prime, he does confront Joshua, and, telling him, "We're not your experiments, and they were my friends." And even at one point, Brains, he's saved, and he, of course, joins the Autobots, and Optimus Prime, he tells the Autobots, even after Joshua confronting Optimus about, using them and, the future, stuff like that, Optimus is like, "Autobots, we're done." And, they leave, and, even say that there of course, we get another epic car chase, because the technology that KSI has, like, they have these, like, Decepticons that are like nanos, like I think that's what they're called, yeah, like nanobots, like, and they could turn into different forms, basically. And one big, like, experiment that they have done, and, yeah, we get the appearance of him in live action, Galvatron, who used to be Megatron. Yeah, because Megatron is Galvatron as well, yeah. And Galvatron being voiced by none other than Frank Welker. Yes, finally Frank Welker is the voice of Megatron slash Galvatron in the Transformers films. And as I said, another epic chase where Galvatron is chasing the Autobots, and even say where, like, you know, they jump, over a bridge. And at one point, Lockdown comes in, and Optimus Prime gets kidnapped, and along with Optimus Prime, Tessa as well accidentally gets kidnapped because, you know, she was inside of a car to keep safe, and Optimus Prime, he was laying on the car, and yeah, both Prime and Tessa being pulled up onto the ship, and thus Cade, Shane, and the Autobots, they go on board the ship to save Optimus. Like, the Autobots, they go save Optimus, while Cade and Shane, they go help and save Tess. And I like that because another moment between between Cade and Shane where, you know, Shane tells Cade, you know, I'm not here to rescue your daughter. You're helping me rescue my girlfriend. Stuff like that. And also, like, you know, like a conversation between Lockdown and Optimus, where, again, something about the ship, and Lockdown telling Optimus, like, who his creators are. Like, you know, he was created to obey their commands, stuff like that, you know. And I think that's something that is, I believe, like, would be established a lot more in The Last Knight, and thus, like, there are weapons, and there are, like, knight swords, so yeah. And Tessa, like, you know, she's roaming around the ship and, you know, trying to, I guess, find a way to escape. And, of course, she is reunited with Cade and Shane. And the Autobots, they rescue Optimus. And even when, at one point, I think it was Cade and Shane that accidentally released the anchors, you know, the anchors to the ship. And they use the anchors, Cade, Shane, and Tess, they use the anchors to escape. And Bumblebee, you know, he shows up and he helps them. And at one point, we get an epic, like, chase around the city, flying around, like, and escaping from the Decepticon crew on the ship. Like, that was pretty cool. Crosshairs and Bumblebee flying the ship, and it's like, you know, Crosshair and Bumblebee switch places. Like, Crosshair was flying while Bumblebee was doing the firing and shooting on the back of the ship, you know, that they were flying in. And, like, you know, let's switch places. You know, Crosshairs does the firing. Like, yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, you know, you always gotta, like, throw in something funny when it's something epic. You get my point. If it's a chase or, like, a fighting, stuff like that. Just saying. Yeah, another thing is, I thought the funny moments and the emotional moments were pretty good too, you know? Funny moments from the Autobots, and especially Joshua. He gets a lot of funny moments. And the emotional moments, yeah, pretty good, because, you know, with the Autobots and, you know, how much Cade talks about, you know, Tess. And another thing I almost forgot to mention, as the movie establishes, sadly, Cade's wife and, you know, Tessa's mother, she sadly died. I don't think the movie establishes how she died. Like, does it? I might have missed it. I don't know. After the whole chase sequence, you know, flying around the city, Optimus, Hound, and Drift, they actually took, a separate part of the ship with them, you know? And, they meet up, of course, with Bumblebee, Crosshairs, and Cade, Tess, and Shane. And, Optimus, he tells Cade that, in fact, mentioned this a couple of times, that, they're done helping the humans, and even Optimus and the rest of the Autobots, including Brains, talking about, Megatron and what has been going on, and also an important piece that Optimus, I think, he had, and he kept and was hiding from the Cemetery Wind and Lockdown, the seed. It's an important piece that obviously has to do with the Autobots. So Lockdown got the seed from Optimus Prime and gave it to the Cemetery Wind, and, thus they have to get the seed back, and, and that's when, at that point, Joshua changes sides, and, he has the seed, and to speed things up, the Autobots, Cade, Shane, and Tess, they travel to China because, so much happening in China, and Joshua being there, and, that's when he helps out the Autobots and Cade, Shane, and Tess. And along with Joshua, because Darcy and Sue, they tag along, and, the Cemetery Wind coming in and, chasing after Cade and the rest of the human characters. And at one point, the humans and some of the Autobots, they got separated from the rest of the Autobots. Optimus, Drift, and Crosshairs, the ship that they were on, the ship that they stole from the big ship, it at one point crash landed. And on that ship, Autobots, assembles and awakens reinforcements that they need, which are the Dinobots. Yeah, we get the Dinobots finally in the Transformers films. And of course, one of the Dinobots being Grimlock. Yeah, the T-Rex, Autobot, Dinobot, I should say. And Hound and Bumblebee, they take on the Decepticons, from KSI and, under the command of Galvatron. Because the thing about Galvatron is that, KSI had a little bit of control of him. Galvatron had control of himself, and KSI, they did as well. But Galvatron and the rest of the Decepticons, they come in, to attack the Autobots, and, I gotta say, about the Autobots that are with Optimus Prime in this film, I love how they're resembled. Hound is this, big overweight soldier with a beard and with a cigar. Crosshairs, I think, he's supposed to be an Australian, Autobot, with an Australian accent, basically. Drift, he resembles a samurai warrior, and that's pretty cool. I think these are some of my favorite group of Autobots led by Optimus Prime, as I said, and Hound, he gets a lot of good, funny dialogue in this, saying stuff like a fat lady skirt, or, I'm going down, or stuff like that. He is a hilarious Autobot, just all the talk that he has, even, say, when in battle, I'm telling you. And John Goodman, because John Goodman, he was definitely the good choice for voicing Hound, as I said, Hound and Bumblebee taking on the Autobots, and Optimus Prime, convincing the Dinobots that, that they're in good hands, and, they can help Optimus Prime and the Autobots take on the enemy, and thus, they do, and they obey Optimus Prime, and, so epic. Optimus and the Autobots riding on the Dinobots, and them, charging and going into the China City, and when it seems like all hope is lost and, they're being defeated, well, long behold, Optimus and the Autobots riding the Dinobots come in, and they help take on the Decepticons and Galvatron, but also with what goes on with the human characters. At one point, Cade fights and at times runs away from James, again, one of the main character, villains, and, one of the main members of the Cemetery Wind. Both James and Harold, they're in China, and James, chasing and fighting Cade. And even say at one point, I think Cade was this close to going for one of James's eyes, but James's eye is fine. But of course, Cade does defeat James. James falls to his death, and it's only Harold that's left. And Harold calls in Lockdown, the location of Optimus Prime and the rest of the characters, the Autobots and the humans. And of course, the Decepticons, they do get defeated. Even say a confrontation between Optimus and Lockdown, and the same goes for Cade and Harold. And even Cade, he has to do this. He has to help Optimus and save the day. And even say Joshua, he still has the seed, safe with him. And, it was pretty funny because when Joshua, Tess, and Shane, they're running, they at one point get held up by these elderly Chinese women. And, he's, Joshua's telling them to, get out of the way. And, Joshua at one point says, how do you effing say get out of the way in Chinese? However he said it. One use of the F-bomb in this film. And, I had completely forgotten, because, the F-bomb had been said in, the first 3 Transformers films. Yeah, I had completely forgotten about that. And before Cade goes to help Optimus, he tells Tess to get out of here and, to be safe. And even told Shane that, you swore to protect her till the end of time, stuff like that. And Tess, she doesn't listen, and, with her and Shane riding in Bumblebee, they go back and help Cade and Optimus. And even Optimus telling, Cade and, I think Tess, Shane, and Bumblebee, stay out of this! This is my fight! And the defeats of Lockdown and Harold, well, Harold, because he has Cade at gunpoint, and he was so stupid doing that because, he should be completely aware that Optimus is there. And thus, Optimus kills Harold. Gosh, it shows you how villains could be stupid sometimes. And Lockdown's defeat, well, because Lockdown had Optimus at, stabbed by the sword and have them pinned. And Bumblebee, Tess, and Shane, they come in and, they help Optimus get the sword out of his chest. And thus, Optimus executes and kills Lockdown in a very, gruesome way. Of course, through the chest and, ripping him apart, splitting him apart, basically. Jeez, Optimus can be very brutal sometimes with, defeating the Decepticons. And speaking of which, Galvatron, well, he basically flees. And, the last words he says, something like, we'll meet again, Optimus Prime. Yeah, and thus he leaves. And, of course, we would see him in the next Transformers film. And all ends well. The seed is safe and protected. Optimus has it, and, he has to leave Earth, with the seed. And, finally, Shane is accepted by Cade. And a funny moment between Joshua and Sue. Joshua asks, did you miss me? And she's like, no. that is pretty funny. And also, about Darcy, I had totally forgotten about this at one point. Earlier during the battle, she left, well, obviously to be safe, and, she said goodbye to Joshua and said something sweet to Joshua, yeah. And, yeah, and it seems like everything's good now, I guess, for the Autobots and the humans, especially the civilians of China. I don't know. Because, they're not pointing guns at the Autobots, so I don't know. But yeah, as I said, Optimus with the seed, he leaves Earth, and, he, of course, has, a speech, as he always would in the Transformers films, and boom, the movie ends, yeah. Great way to end the film, as, the rest of the Transformers films. Optimus always having the first and last lines. So yeah, Transformers Age of Extinction, I thought was pretty good. I don't think it was that bad. And I understand, it's not the best Transformers film, and definitely there are those that don't like this film, but there are those, like myself, that do like this film. And how do I rate Age of Extinction? Good question. I'm thinking, I don't know, yeah, it's on my mind, 8 out of 10 stars. 8 out of 10 stars for Transformers Age of Extinction. And what about you guys? What did you think of Transformers Age of Extinction itself? And what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Transformers Age of Extinction. More review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And of course, the Transformers Marathon still continuing, and the next Transformers film, well, we all know what it is. It's The Last Knight. Stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out.